Thank you for tuning in to our shed hunting series. Today, we are going to check out a match set of deer sheds found in Illinois. The hunter in the following year was able to kill the deer and scored over 190 inches. Now let's meet this week's Shed King of the Week.
There are questions every hunter wants to know. The goal of this series is to examine giant shed antlers from all over the Midwest and beyond to answer one question: where were the antlers found? By knowing that, we can begin to understand more about deer, elk, and where they live outside of hunting season. And more importantly, how to find more shed antlers this spring. Thank you for tuning into Shed Kings. Be sure to hammer that like button and subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode.
My name is Cody Jenkins. I'm from Illinois. I've been shed antler hunting probably about 15 years. I'm probably about the 90 to 100 all-time mark. My best year is 17 sheds. The most interesting characteristic is what he broke off. So these inside points that he carried into the next year, they grew substantially, but as you can tell, he broke them off on each side this year. But that's very unique for my area. We don't get a lot of inside flyer points like that. And then this webbing that it has on each side, that is characteristic to my area on multiple sheds that I have. Carry outs of the genetics around there for years. All right, we're going to score these up and give him a spread. Not a pro at scoring antlers, so we're just doing this to get a rough estimate of what he was. We know that he was 193 the year that I shot him. I did get him officially done. He did net right at a Booner 170, so be interesting to see what he was the year before. All right, so after rough scoring him, he went 164 and 2/8. Like I said, he was 193 when I shot him. With the busted off stuff, his G4 here being busted and the inside points, maybe give him another 8 inches, but he still put on 20 plus inches in a year. I believe these are his 4-year-olds, and when he hit 5, he really blew up into a one-of-a-kind buck. He was a 170 class frame deer, but his abnormal points took him up to the 190s there. So 23 plus abnormal points. He was 17 points, so it's a lot to add up, but like I said, awesome deer to hunt. 3 years of hunting him, a lot of stand hours. I was really devastated when I didn't kill him this year, but made it all better when he was a 190 the following year and I got to catch up with him. So these were lying side by side, and they're exactly where I find almost all my sheds. So when I get a buck on camera in the summer, I always go back there to find his sheds in the winter. It seems like if the deer makes it through the year, he goes back to his summer range, and I found these sheds 15 yards from where I got summer pictures of them laying side by side. And it's in a grassy area, 70 to 50 yards off of a food source. So he liked beans. He transferred with the beans on the property to the north, to the south. Wherever the beans were planted, this deer would go. The beans were on the south. He was there in the summer. During that winter, I knew that his sheds would be down there, and my buddy actually has the other side of this, and it was found on the north when the beans were on the north. The majority of the sheds I find come from low spots in the field or that buffer strip that I'm talking about. The farmers around here, they do not like to get their combines close to trees, so they have cut the trees back 20, 30 yards, and a lot of times they don't brush hog that area. So what I believe happens is these deer go out and feed at night, and then they go and bed in that grassy area and chew their cud basically, and then they get up and go back out and feed. So I feel like they're spending a lot of their time in that 20, 30 buffer, 20-yard buffer, and that's where I find the most of my sheds. My number one piece of advice would be to slow down and don't get discouraged. Sometimes I'll cover like 10 acres and not find any, and then I'll find 3 or 4 really quick, and then I am a fast walker, so I always have to tell myself, slow down. In your mind, you want to cover as much ground as possible, but it's actually, if you're in an area where you know that you found sheds in the past, you just need to slow down and really grid search that area. a lot of the sheds that I've found have been on like a second walk back on a different angle and found them that way. Yeah, I got a couple extra here, interesting ones. This is actually my biggest shed I've found. It's 81 inches. I found this on a lowland strip on the back of a pond dam with very few trees around it. Another one of those spots where I think this deer bedded and then dropped it when he was going out to the field. Looked for the other side of this deer for a long time, covered a lot of acres and never found it. And I have my son's biggest shed. It's 67 and a half. This came off his great grandpa's farm, so that's pretty cool. He'll get to have it when he grows older. I have video of him finding this shed. Hopefully we can get it in this video. He's pretty jacked up. He said he found a monster shed. So he was carrying a little shed with him, and for him to hold up the difference and finally realize that there's these laying out there in the woods, he was pretty amazed. And then I got my biggest public land shed. We walk a lot of public land. This is a 73.5 inch side. And this was actually found really close to where this deer was. So a lot of people say it could be, close related. So pretty cool. This one has a lot of trash. I would like to be able to found this shed the next year, but I believe that we got pictures of this buck from a guy on public land the next year hitting a scrape. So he was still out there, still around. We never caught up to him.
If you liked this episode, there's more where that came from. Check out the entire Shed Kings playlist on the Last Breath TV YouTube channel and subscribe so that way you never miss an episode.